All right, welcome back, fellow TFFL owners, to another TFFL webcast. It is Wednesday, September 26th, 2018. We are going to be looking back tonight at Week 3 TFFL action, looking ahead to Week 4. A few quick headlines to get us started. The Hormel Hams, their winless streak finally over. Big win for them this week. On the other side, the Boba Fats, their unbeaten streak continues. Big win over the Aliens in Week 3. K-Wheels, the only team still standing, I shouldn't say undefeated. The Boba Fats are undefeated, but the only team at 3 wins, 3-0 for the K-Wheels. Big win over Jack's Giant Killers. Sorry, Jack. And we'll talk more about that later. Week 4 coming up. We've got NFL bye weeks coming into play for the first time all year. So we're really getting into the heart of the season already. Before we get to our conversation, let's introduce our panel as always. Commissioner Terry Rogers, not in the garage tonight. Welcome.
Hello.
Former Commissioner, Skipper the Sponge Fisherman, Chief.
Hi, Stick.
IT Director Hank, remarkably on time tonight. Well done.
Yes, we've had a fairly smooth ramp up here to get it going here this evening. Yes.
Great work.
All right, thank you.
And our fantasy football legend, Berto. Welcome.
Hey, Stick. And Jack was just here as well, but
Yes.
getting yelled at to go up to bed. So.
All right. So let's jump in with TFFL trivia to get you thinking. Very quickly, I will apologize for my sloppiness last week. I was looking for an active streak of winning seasons, and I did not specify that. I'll try to be better this time around. So we've had 21 modern era seasons in the books. We have 21 modern era packed bowl champions. And I wanted to take a look and see whether there was any hope for our 0-3 franchises. Have any packed bowl champions ever started the year 0-3 or perhaps worse? Let me see if I can give you a little insight without giving away the question. So out of 21 modern era packed bowl champions, 15 of those 21 never had a loss to start the year. They won the game one. So if you're one of the 5 teams that won in game 1 this year, you've got some good hope. So 15 out of those 21 didn't have a losing streak at all to start the season. I want you to tell me the longest losing streak to start the season that any Pac Bowl champion has had.
Damn.
And I'll give you how about a point if you're within 1 of the correct number, and 2 points if you get the number on the nose.
How many games?
How many games? The most games lost to start a season by a Pac Bowl champion. I hope that was clear. All right, and that was TFFL trivia, not brought to you by Campbell's.
Nice.
No, cold and flu season is coming up. I don't turn to anything else but Campbell's.
Excellent.
All right. TFFL standings. Hank, I know you're excited to present these to us. Remind everybody where we stand before we start our chat tonight.
Yes. Let us remind everyone where we stand here on this day. Let's all pause for a moment and just appreciate.
Let's skip this
fact right here. We have one undefeated team, and it is undefeated and untied. I like to think of it as one perfect team thus far, and that is the K-Wheels. And I want to appreciate this greatly because I'm very tentative that this is going to last. I feel as though I was the worst team in the league last year, and I'm excited to be where we are. So it's also sweet as can be to beat the Giant Killers. So we'll get to that. Also, someone who should be feeling very good, as Stick mentioned already, the streak still intact, is the undefeated yet slightly blemished 2-0-1 Boba Fats, continuing their really good run of dominance here lately. A number of teams, 5 of them, in fact, sitting at 2-1 above the Mendoza line and should feel pretty good about where they are right now at this point of the season. Aliens, AMPAC, Devils, Mongols, Senators. A couple panel members should be feeling pretty good. You know, especially you, Terry, who lost to the juggernaut that is the K-Wheels. We also have the 1-1-1 Hormel Hams, and you know that's got to feel kind of about average for Michael. We haven't really gone anywhere, haven't really moved the needle one way or the other. Yeah, and then you got just the one team sitting at 1-2, the Lizards. Now I think both of these teams had very high hopes for this season, so neither one can be very happy with this this slow start. But the teams who are really unhappy, right here. I'm sorry, Killers and Sponge, and you too, Beavers. It is not fun to start 0-3. It is not a good hole to be in. It also means 2 divisional losses, so you're in a hole already. Probably looking at a big run needed. And I know we're going to get into talking a little bit about a few of those things. So Killers, I've been where you are, my friend, and it's not fun, but I wish you luck, and that's where we stand.
Who are we sucking for next year? Is it who's the running back? The guy from Boston College?
I came up with a few.
AJ Dillon?
Is it? Yeah.
For Love Not Money, Bryce Love, UCLA.
Yeah, he's good.
Rotten for Rodney Anderson, Oklahoma.
I like that.
Horrible for Harris, Damian Harris, Alabama. And lousy for LJ Scott, Michigan State. So
okay.
I don't know.
Your thunder. I had no clue you did that.
Nice work. That's some good work. You're going to have to join up as like a junior Cub reporter for Thornburg in his college review.
Nice.
I know nothing about those 4 running backs, but that was a quick Google search earlier.
The guy from Oklahoma you mentioned blew out his knee last weekend. He's out.
There you go.
So
it won't be that guy.
Yeah.
I noticed Mel Kiper has 0 running backs in his top 25. I'm not sure there's going to be a stud running back this year. We'll see.
Of course.
We'll see. All right, so let's turn to Terry, our commissioner. Any news, notes, reminders, rants you want to go on?
Well, good news is as far as I know, the last I checked, everybody has been paid. So Myrtle financiers are all settled up. Everybody should be happy. And then why did Phil send out the FA report this week? That's a good question. He didn't. But for some reason, when I replied from TFFL, FAIR.com, it made it seem that way. So thank you, Phil.
I was texting Terry. I'm like, did you delegate responsibilities?
Last week, too.
I was like, Phil is on top of this.
So Phil's name must be on that Google account then.
I didn't do this. I was like, what am I on top of?
I thought Stick, your name was on that Google.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I did not do any sort of is it an automated thing?
Yeah, so no, it's the email account. You must have created it, Phil.
the TFFL FAIR account.
Yeah.
Probably years ago, yeah.
Okay, that explains things.
Remember those years you forgot you were a commissioner? Probably then.
One of the innovations of Hank Rain.
Yeah, look at that.
Also, Hank, that reminds me. You'll be happy to know that back in the early 90s, you were president of Beta.
I do have some photos from then. Yes.
The visual representation.
I do.
Yes.
I do. So that part, I it's funny. I got that. It's it's in between. It's like when the kids were really young and pre-kids.
All right, let's go to our roundtable chat. A new innovation here tonight. I want to, for our viewers at home, give you a sense of what we're going to talk about. I'll tell you on the agenda, we're going to dive into the Slippery Beavers and their somewhat shocking fire sale. We're going to talk about our defending champions, the Boba Fats, their ongoing unbeaten streak. Can't help but talk a little bit about Baker Mayfield and rookie quarterbacks. And as we've hinted at already, we'll get to the rivalry game, the K-Wheels and the Giant Killers and its implications. That's on the agenda. Happy to talk about anything else, guys. But let's start with the Beavers. I think that was sort of the biggest TFFL news of the week. Bill sending out an email saying, he's done. He's so far behind in this uber competitive division. And as I told you guys in the agenda, we have this conversation, it feels like almost every year around week 3, because if you're 0-3, you're panicking. And if you're 3-0, you're high like Hank. And, and I believe we conclude most years, you should panic a little if you're 0-3, but it's not the end of the world. Chief in particular has proven time and again that you can come back from a slow start. Bill, I wasn't planning on having that conversation, but Bill has made us have it. Several things here that are driving me nuts. First off, he's only 2 games back. Forgive me, Terry, and forgive me, Nick. You guys are not – you're both rebuilding as well, sort of on the fly. Terry's got Jimmy Garoppolo's injury suddenly to contend with. To think that the Mongols and the Devils are insurmountable foes, I think, is silly. And then the Devils and Mongols just played each other in week 3. They scored 101 points combined. And then Bill goes and puts half his team off limits anyway. Is this a fire sale or not? I told Phil today, I think he really doesn't believe he needs to have a fire sale. I think he believes he can probably still come back, but I'm sure he's very frustrated, and that's why he sent that email. But I'm not buying this right now.
I don't see anything really newsworthy in this. Listen, you're 0-3. People are going to try to pick you off, whether you put an email up there or not. Hey, I'll give you this. That's just what happens when you're 0-3. If God forbid one of the 3 of us goes 0-4, it's going to multiply, by a factor of 2 or 3. So I don't know. I mean, as you said, he said, "Oh, you probably don't want to ask for this, this, this." Well, who am I going to ask for? I guess Lamar Miller can help somebody, right? I think he was absent from that protected list. But I think at this point, if you're looking to buy, I don't know who's looking to buy right now. You can probably do better than the Flotsam and Jetsam that are left on the Beavers roster at this point. But I don't think his email was anything out of the ordinary or anything really we need to spend too much time on. It's just reflects reality.
Yeah. Just quickly, I'll just say this. It's like the garage sale is starting at like 2 p.m. and it's noon. So he's just bringing the stuff out to the front yard.
I like it.
Somebody kind of walk by, maybe somebody will pick up this piece of trash. So the sale hasn't really started yet, but he's just bringing the stuff outside. So if somebody's interested in one of those pieces, then, by all means, buy Demaryius Thomas or Miller or whoever. But the garage sale hasn't officially started yet.
I think he just couldn't wait to send the email.
Right.
He was setting the stage in Myrtle. Oh, woe is me with Le'Veon Bell. And then when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, I think he's been planning this since the draft. So now he's got it out there. And, I think Chief hit the nail on the head with him saying, the 4 guys who are untouchables. I think he has Miller and Brandon Cooks. And, there's nobody else really worth trading for. So, unless somebody wants to take a flyer on Fitzpatrick.
So Marlon Mack.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, sorry, Phil, to your point, Stick, he's playing the Killers this week too. So he's playing another 0-3 team. And, theoretically that's a game that, we're both looking at. Hopefully we can win. So, maybe it is premature.
You guys all have made really a lot of the same points that I think I had as well. But this email, when it came out, got me in such the wrong way, because I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This guy is giving up already when he's got nothing. And of course, it's the garage sale analogy is fantastic. He's just bringing out the early bargain stuff that's at the front of the garage. He hasn't really brought out the good stuff yet. I think it goes to Caffrey or Rodgers. What? Thornburg, you got to be willing to talk about anybody. And depending on what the offer may be, it might be worth listening to. If you're not going to get there this year, I mean, are you sure those guys are going to be there to give it to you next year? And I don't know. I mean, it just struck me in such a bad way that, Thornburg, come on, man. Let's get it together.
Who's the favorite in that division to win the title?
I don't know. That's the thing I think the Devils have gotten, a good run so far to start the season. I'm playing them this week. I have high hopes of, dropping them down a loss. The Mongols are, they already had to play the juggernaut K-Wheels, so what are you going to do?
Already took it on the chin.
Your hot take earlier today was the Beavers are still the favorite to win that division.
The Beavers could still be the favorite. They still have the most, when you look at the talent, this is fantasy football. We play this on computer screens. When you look at the lineup, he's got good players. Okay, let's see him perform.
Right.
By the way, the Mongols just lost their starting quarterback for the season too, so that's a huge hit.
Yeah. Let me run back to Berto's analogy. Let me tell you what happens when I start the garage sale early. All right, I'm open. I'm pulling out some old kids' toys or some old bikes or whatever. Some tools I got new ones of and bring the old ones out. You know what happens when I start the yard sale early? Freaking strangers park cars in my driveway and walk into my garage. How much is this riding lawnmower? How much is this drill press? How much is this beer fridge? As they're walking into the garage. It's like, it's literally a garage sale. So if you're gonna hit the Beavers garage sale, ask for the riding lawnmower. Ask for the beer fridge. See what maybe can get Aaron Rodgers out of him. If you want to take a flyer on Le'Veon Bell, it's easy. I get more frustrated as the weeks go by. Go trophy hunting. And who's gonna look for Marlon Mack? It's anyway. If I'm, he's offering this, take a shot at that instead. I'd be curious to see what happens.
Beautiful build on the garage sale analogy. I love it.
Nice work.
Terry was only in the garage tonight. This would be perfect.
Yeah. Had I known.
So real quick, Le'Veon Bell can come back, or has to come back by week 10.
Yes.
And I don't know what this could be a topic for another day. What the expectations would be for how he can perform, how much work the Steelers would give him if and when he does come back. But if the Beavers, I think that's what the Beavers have to try to do is hang in this thing through weeks 8 or 9 and feel like before the trade deadline, make the call that once Bell comes back, they can be a much better team down the stretch and have a strong finish to the season.
And I will say, Bell is the one guy they shouldn't trade because he's not going to give you anything this year anyway. But next year, it'd be like a new keeper for you, right? It'd be like a new draft pick.
So we'll see what happens with the Beavers. But 0-3 to start the year, I know Bill is concerned, as I think all of you should be. Let's talk now about a team that is winning, that again is technically still undefeated this year, the Boba Fats. And the point I made is that if you were talking to any of us TFFL pundits, Chief, I think in particular, was calling the Senators his Pac Bowl favorite at one point. I think a lot of us would have pointed to the AmPac. The Lizards occasionally get mentioned as a Pac Bowl favorite. I'm not sure I ever heard anybody, acknowledge that our current defending champs, the Boba Fats, could repeat. And here they are. They're 2-0-1, a big win over the Aliens in week 3. This incredible unbeaten streak. I should really count it up and make sure we get this exactly right, but I think we're at 14 or 15 straight games now. This team is as good as any in the TFFL. Let's give Rob his due. Let's give the Boba Fats their due. This is a strong team, a deep team. My only question here is are there too many eggs in the Rams basket? If the Rams have an off week down the stretch in the playoffs, can the Fats string together? I guess they've proven it. They can win 15 straight, but are they at greater risk this year with Goff and Gurley being the centerpieces of their team?
Yeah, I've been talking a lot, so I'll jump in quickly and jump out. I would disagree that they're a deep team. Last year, the trio of Kelsey, Gurley, and Stafford won a Pac Bowl. They got nothing from AJ Green or Crabtree. These are guys who are good fantasy football players, but they're average. Everybody has guys like that in their team. This team was carried by stars last year. Now, swapped Goff for Stafford, which you'd think from a scoring standpoint is an upgrade. And as you said, now you put another Ram in there. So, I think that's why I still don't see him as really a favorite. I don't, it takes one injury to one of these guys, or now there's two of the top three are Rams. Exactly. One, a bad, Rams going against a Jaguars defense or Vikings defense or something.
Like this week?
Well, this week, but, in the playoffs or something like that. So, I guess I reject the premise out of hand. I think the other three teams you talked about are more talented. Not that Rob couldn't do it. Obviously, he can't lose right now. But I don't think he's on the level of the Senators in the impact.
Here's where I want to see the live comments right now, because I know Rob's probably watching live. Go ahead.
So a couple things about the Fats. So they just lost Burkhead. So Burkhead's on IR. So that certainly hurts their depth. I kind of agree with Chief in terms of there's not, they just don't have a lot of running backs and wide receivers on the team because they're carrying two quarterbacks. Three quarterbacks, two tight ends, two kickers, two defenses. So there's a lot of other guys on there besides running backs and wide receivers, which has capped their depth a little bit because they don't have all of those other guys because of those other positions. And like I said, Burkhead, AJ Green's health, I mean, that's a concern. They got Corey Clement in the starting lineup. But that being said, I mean, you win TFL with, a quarterback who can be, a top 10 type guy and a couple superstars or, two or three superstars. And that's what this team has. So if those guys stay, if AJ Green goes down or Travis Kelce goes down, this team is in serious trouble. But the fact that they went out and got their quarterback, they got Goff, and he's doing well. He's got 354 yards the last 2 weeks. That's great. Gurley's playing great. Kelsey's playing great. It's that one injury to one of those superstars that's really going to impact them probably more than the Senators or the Impact, for example.
Yeah, I mean, Fats has written his stars to the title, and they played awesome. And as long as they keep playing awesome, and he finds a couple of pieces to chip in, like Rex Burkhead did last year. I mean, if Corey Clement all of a sudden becomes that kind of points producer for him, he could be in great shape. I see AJ Green is reported like a pelvis injury, which I'm guessing he basically got tackled really hard and is sore. But I don't worry too much about the receivers and their injuries. I mean, Julio Jones hasn't practiced in 2 years, and still plays. So, I think he'll be fine there. But he's good across the top. But you're right, the depth issue is real for him. And if injuries are to strike, he's pretty thin.
Yeah. I mean, short answer, are they, more susceptible to a bad game from the Rams offense? Yes. But the Rams have the number one offense. So, I mean, essentially what you're rolling the dice on is that terrible game doesn't happen in the TFFL playoffs. Because, 10 out of 12 weeks, they're going to give you points. You just got to hope that goose egg doesn't show up at the wrong time.
So I kind of scripted this before the Burkhead news, when I said that the Fats were a deep team. But I guess I'll disagree with you guys a little bit. Obviously, Burkhead is gone now, but I was looking at Burkhead and Tariq Cohen on his bench as backup running backs, Golden Tate, T.D. Westbrook, Pierre Garçon as backup receivers. Eric Ebron's actually been producing as a tight end you could plug in if need be. Andy Dalton actually looks like a very good backup fantasy quarterback right now. And again, he's already got his two kickers defenses. So I think it's a solid team. Burkhead is a ding. But I guess my point still stands. I think as a league, we've been underestimating the Fats for a while now. They won the title last year. They're still undefeated this year. Let's see how long they can keep this up. All right.
I don't mean to underestimate them in any way. They have had an amazing run, and well done.
So on the field, I think perhaps the most exciting thing in week 3 was Baker Mayfield getting on the field. I think we all saw it from my eyes. He was immediately comfortable in the pocket, in command. And damn, when he threw the ball, it zipped. It was a sharp spiral. That guy can wing it. Chief, I think you got yourself a keeper here. I know you've been asking that question. Is Baker Mayfield a keeper heading into 2019 for you over Andrew Luck? You don't have to answer it anytime soon, but I think the answer is, of course, he's a keeper heading into next year, assuming he stays healthy and I mean, he looks for real. I'm just going to do a little I told you so to some extent. You know, we talked about how I think people should probably be spending a little more draft capital on these guys because the upside is so huge. You've now got yourself a guy I presume you're extremely excited about. That's a potential, if not definite, keeper for 2019. You got him in the 10th round. If we had the draft again today, where does Baker Mayfield go? I bet you a lot earlier than round 10, having seen that little performance in week 3. And my question, was it really hard to imagine he'd be this good? Of course not. He was the number 1 overall pick.
Well, he's number 1 pick, went to Cleveland. History is filled with number 1 picks went to Cleveland. How many quarterbacks have they started? Was he the 21st in the last decade or something like that? 19th? But no, you're right. The takeaway for me with that game was how hard everyone played. Linemen were like pancaking people. Receivers were diving. Running backs were breaking tackles. That wasn't happening.
Offensive linemen were breaking tackles.
Oh, my God. It was ridiculous. I want to slow it down a little bit. It was one game against a team that clearly didn't prepare for him, or was a very good defense to begin with. His offensive weapons are still no great shake. So, I love Jarvis Landry as a football player. I think Duke Johnson's a hell of a football player. So we'll see what happens stat-wise. He's starting for me this week. So let's go from there. Baby steps. And as bad as as mediocre as his skill position players are, they're probably better than Luck's.
That's a good collection. I mean, they could use Josh Gordon. Or a talent like that, obviously, that's missing now from that up. But Callaway, Landry, Njoku, Duke Johnson, I'm going to say it, Carlos Hyde is a good running back.
Yeah. Not to be a wet blanket here, but let's just slow our roll a little bit. I mean, the NFL and the history of NFL is littered with the Ryan Leafs and the Tim Couches and whoever else.
Deshaun Watson's struggling right now.
So, but
coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah, but that being said, yeah, I mean, I'd love to think that Sam Darnold's going to be a keeper for me next year too. Picked in 12th round, I hope. But he went in a situation where the quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, I mean, watching that game, and I watched that entire game, and Tyrod Taylor on his back, and every play, he's up slow, and his head, and his knee, and his shoulder, and his back. Literally every play of that game, there was just no energy. And when Baker Mayfield went into that game on a Thursday night, energy, awesome. That's great. But what is going to happen down the road on a Sunday at 2:00, the Cleveland Browns are going to struggle mightily against name your opponent. At 4:30 in 3 weeks from now, they're going to struggle. It's not going to be the same juice as that Thursday night game with Baker Mayfield coming in. So he's going to have problems, just like Sam Darnold was, a wonder kid week 1, and now he's just another quarterback in the NFL who's got a great potential. But so this guy's going to struggle, but yeah, I mean, the future's bright, but we just have to temper our expectations of what's going to happen here.
And real quick, I'm going to say kudos to you. And, I still don't agree with your point, but you did. I'll back you up on that. Saying you should be taking these rookie quarterbacks. But, also as Berto said, that same conversation, he's really got to be a third QB if you wanted to take Darnold or Rosen or Mayfield. So. I think it's proven.
And that's a fair point. You weren't going to take Mayfield as your backup because he wasn't going to be playing at the start. I get that. But, yeah, you've got to be excited, Chief. He looks incredible and could be one of your future foundation pieces.
Yeah, early returns, very positive, right?
Yes. And I don't know if we've pointed this out yet. So now it's Mayfield. It's Josh Rosen's going to be starting in Week 4. As Berto mentioned, Sam Darnold obviously already starting. Josh Allen starting and performing relatively well in Buffalo, at least 1 week to the next. Lamar Jackson is not starting, but he's getting occasional playing time for Baltimore. So all 5 of these guys we're going to see very quickly whether they're going to be keepers next year or not. All right, last topic on the agenda, K-Wheels versus Giant Killers.
Perfect timing.
Very exciting news for
Perfect timing.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. So one of the hard truths about being a webcast panelist is you can't hide when your team is underperforming. I'm not trying to kick the Giant Killers while they're down, but I think we have to talk about this classic rivalry game that just took place, the transition that has taken place in that division. K-Wheels now 3-0, Giant Killers 0-3. That streak we talked about last week, 10 straight winning seasons for this franchise, suddenly very much in jeopardy. Let me ask both of you. I'll start with you, Hank. How does it feel to be 3-0, to be winning your division, to have put the Giant Killers in that kind of a hole?
Right. Well, I feel like I've been crowing a little bit, so I want crap that he currently finds himself in, because I've been there and it stinks. But on the other side, it's really nice from up here looking down at 3-0 on the rest of the league. I enjoy it, and I hope that I can make it last a little bit. But in case I can't, I want to appreciate it right now. It sucks in this league to lose. It makes your whole week go bad, and when you win, it just changes your whole attitude on things. And so beat 3-0 is fun. But Berto, beating you is without a doubt one of the sweetest things going. I love it. You know that, and it's you've owned me over the years. Like looking at it, was like our rivalry is like 14-6 or something like that over the years, and you've owned me. And I need wins, and beating you is.
26-13, I believe the record was.
There you go, 26-13, just like I said.
All right, 26-14 now.
Yes.
And put up 91 points doing it.
Yeah. But being able, and it was funny because I was stressing, and then there was like this magical hour between like 3 and 4:15 is 3:15 to 4:15, where all of a sudden everything came together, and Sean Watson hit Will Fuller, and Barkley scored, and it was just. Oh, it was wonderful.
I wish I knew what that was like.
Yeah.
Berto, I can't help but acknowledge that maybe you've got your own little pre-garage sale going on. You just haven't been as vocal as Bill.
Yeah. No, there's a little pre-garage sale going on for sure.
What's the state of the Killers?
I mean, I'm not in, we're staging stuff in the garage. We're not moving stuff out yet, for sure.
You're like a semi-permanent garage sale state, aren't you?
I usually like to bring things into the garage, not get rid of them. But, Stick, you mentioned about my team underperforming. Honestly, that's really not the case, because I've put up some good points. The last 2 weeks, I'm averaging 71 points.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. 73 and 69. I just didn't win those games. And to Phil's point, both weeks, I emailed you guys this today. I was counting my chickens because I loved where I was at till about 3:30-ish. And I was out on Sunday. I didn't watch the games, but, it was 28, 26. 29, 27, 32, 31. And I was totally happy with that because I knew I had Big Ben at the end of that. And then my phone died. I was at Great Adventure. And then I got into the car, and I was in a kind of a good mood because I thought things were going good, and I plugged it in, and I literally did a triple take at the wheel score. And, shit happens. But the other thing I'll say this, nobody's a bigger fan of the K-Wheels right now. I hope the K-Wheels start beating everyone, except for the Killers later on in the season, because that's going to help us. And I'm as far as I'm concerned, the K-Wheels can win the division now. So, but beat other teams who are in the playoff hunt.
I will do my best, Berto, and you know how much I want your support. So thank you very much, and we're going to do the best we can.
There you go.
All right, let me give you a TFFL trivia answer. Start wrapping up the show here. Again, I'm looking for the longest losing streak that any Packed Bowl champion has ever had to start the season. I want to know how many games that streak went. 1 point if you're within 1, 2 points if you get it exactly. I think 2 people have got the correct answer here. 0-2 is the worst any Packed Bowl champion has ever started the season.
I was going to do it, and I'm like, maybe there's one guy who got 30.
No, I hate to make it to the 0-3 team here.
But I get 1 point. I get 1 point on that. And those guys get 2?
Yep, there you go.
That sucks.
The Dirt Devils in 2001 started 0-2. The Dirt Devils again in 2008 started 0-2 before going on to win the title. And then only 4 other times did a Pac Bowl champion lose their first game of the season. All other Pac Bowl champions won their first game of the season and did not start in any sort of hole. There you go. Terry, Commissioner, why don't you give us the schedule rundown and a game of the week for us to talk about?
Certainly. Week 4 slate. The AMPAC at 2-1 play the 2-1 Mongols. In a battle of teams who have not won yet, the Killers travel to the Slippery Beavers in a battle of 0-3 teams. The 2-1 Aliens and Senators matchup. The Lizards 1-2 at the 1-1 Hams. Fats at the Sponge, as Fats looks to continue his winning streak. And then game of the week, the undefeated K-Wheels playing the 2-1 Dirt Devils in a battle of original owners. Yes?
Yes, original owners.
Nice.
Yes.
Pre-expansion owners. Yes.
Yeah. Stick Nick and I played on napkins in our we weren't really supposed to go outside in that neighborhood, so we spent a lot of time watching football, like today.
Nick is getting hit by some buys this week. He's got his 2 Redskins running backs out, Devin Funchess at receiver.
Yeah, this is a great week to get Nick. We'll see. He's put up some points a couple times this week, but look, I feel good. I feel like we're moving right now, and I'm going to beat him. So
Dirt Devils lead that series 14-5.
Look, I think if we look through the years in the historical, record books, it's between me and Terry, for all of the who's got the longest losing this, who has the worst winning that. I've been bad, and I want to be better. And it's fun to be 3-0. It's great.
The Devils had a 10-game winning streak against you from 2001 through 2009. Just for the this is all bulletin board material, Phil. I'm giving you because I'm rooting for you now.
This is great. It's getting my guys.
Had a 10-game winning streak against you, 2001 to 2009, and then you had a little run, 4-game winning streak, and then they won the last 4.
I'm on a 4-game losing streak to the Devils right now.
Yes.
Wow. All right. That's enough there.
That was the old K-Wheels. That was the old K-Wheels.
That's all.
Not this team.
That's all to help you out.
That's right. That's all the past. We're looking forward. We're looking ahead. We're ready to roll now. Let's go.
Hank, you've got 4 receivers, I think, who scored a touchdown last week. 4 starting caliber receivers. How are you deciding which guy sits each week?
Well, right now I've basically just decided that Marvin Jones is going to be my my fourth guy, just because of the emergence of Galladay. And yes, the Lions throw the ball a lot, but I feel like last week against New England, I didn't feel like it was a great matchup for them. And look, Robert Woods is the other guy I would typically sit. I feel like I'm not going to sit Julio. And I like starting Will Fuller with Watson just because that's such a bonus when they connect, and they've been connecting a lot. So it comes down to Marvin Jones or Robert Woods, and Robert Woods has been on a tear.
It's hard to sit any Rams right now.
Yeah.
Rams and Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and my game with Nick this week is really big on Thursday. We each have 3 components going Thursday. He's got Cousins, Diggs, and his kicker, Sam Ficken, going for the Rams. And then I've got Woods, the Vikings D, and Kyle Rudolph. So if I can be within shouting distance after Thursday, I'm going to feel pretty good. If Cousins and Diggs connect twice and Sam Ficken hits from 50 twice, I'm not feeling great.
All the games, of course, are interesting in their own right. But the other one I'm looking at is Lizards and Hams. We haven't talked much at all about Patrick Mahomes, who's obviously been one of the big stories of the NFL to start the year. I kind of want to see which direction the Hams go before we spend a lot of time talking about Mahomes. So at 1-1-1, the Hams have a big game this week against the Lizards, 1-2, and again, that's a very good team that is going to be without Cam Newton on a bye this week. The Lizards certainly don't want to start the year 1-3. So let's see who wins that one. But
can you possibly sit Pat Mahomes at this point?
He's got him in. He's got him starting over Breeze. I think he got him, especially on Monday night.
I think he starts over any other quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
how the matchup is.
Right, and again, we're not going to talk about the Hams too much right now, but there's a lot to talk about with them on a future webcast, because if Mahomes is the guy who's a no doubt starter every week, what are you doing with Drew Brees on your bench? There ought to be somebody who wants to trade for him.
Yeah, but that somebody might beat you in the playoffs, so it might be better. Yep. Let's tell Pat Mahomes, man. I saw a guy at the gym today with Pat Mahomes' haircut. So Mahomes mania is running wild, at least in Stafford, Virginia.
All right. So, hey, that's it for tonight. I think
I had a mini rant, actually.
Oh, please go on a rant. Please, Murdo.
I got a small one, too, and I need to recap the trivia scoring to make sure I got it right. So go ahead, Berto.
All right. So is the league chat working for everyone else on their phone? Is it just my issue? Because I was texting Bill, and he was having an issue, too.
Phone sucks.
Is it pretty sucky or what this year?
Phone sucks.
Yeah.
Tablets
sucks, yeah.
Marginally better, but you need a laptop to actually use it.
Because
tablet's okay. I got
on the phone. I mean, it worked week 1 and week 2, I felt like, but then I was texting Bill. I'm like, can you get into the chat? And he was saying no. I mean, it was totally, you couldn't, nothing was coming up. So,
and even on my tablet, the app didn't work. I went to the browser and got in that way.
Okay.
The app's just terrible.
Yeah.
For the chat feature.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my very small rant, but.
All right, here's my
I just clicked out of the league chat. I was able to get in now, so. But nothing Sunday.
It's working for me on tablet. And my very quick rant is now that the commissioner.com or the automated email service comes and we get all these great reports and we don't have to write the power rankings and whatnot anymore. Yeah. The co-owners getting equal billing with, what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Connor and Matt Smith and seeing them, in the emails. And no offense to Connor or Matt Smith, but those guys aren't involved, and they have nothing to do with the lineups, and neither one of them really gives two shits if they're included. I think they should be taken out of the commissioner settings so that they don't appear in the emails. That's a minor rant.
Take them off the owner list?
No. Phil doesn't.
The settings.
Phil doesn't want to read things like head coaches Chris Connor and Robert Long made a brilliant lineup decision.
That's right.
Yeah, unless Connor's giving you a lot of advice behind the scenes, Stick, which we always thought, he was behind the scenes guy. So
Well, and if that's the case, then he needs to stay. It's no idea.
Damn right.
The Aliens, I believe, have had Chris Connor in our offices for 3 years now. 3 straight winning seasons for the Aliens. So you do the math.
Obviously, it's his input that's making all the difference.
All right. Any other rants?
No, the one thing I need Terry, did you get the trivia question right? Did you get any points in the trivia?
I got the trivia question right.
Okay, so you got 2.
2 games.
All right, good. Chief, did you get it right?
Yep, 2 for the guest.
2 for the guest. No, you're still listed as Chief on my scoring.
2 for Chief.
And Berto and I each got 1.
I got 0.
Alberto got 0. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, good enough. Thank you. Just for for records keeping sake, that brings our season totals to Chief with 4, Hank with 2, Berto with 2, and T-Row with 2. So we are now starting to get competitive with the trivia, and Chief is has got us doubled up. So continue on.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up. Good luck to everybody. Week 4, again, NFL bye weeks. I do see some players who are on buys who are still in starting lineups. Make your lineup changes as soon as possible. Thursday night action tomorrow night. Big game. Rams Vikings. That'll be a great one. And yeah, now I think let's call it the next 5 weeks or so. You get through week 8, and I think these next 5 weeks are the heart of the season. We're going to have a lot of cross-conference games here. But good luck to everybody. We're going to start seeing a little bit of separation and some do-or-die games with 2-0-3 teams this week. We'll know a lot more very soon, I think. We'll be back here in a week. Good luck to everybody in week 4. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Right.
Go Vikings. Go Vikings. Need to turn it around.
Go Eagles.